Hello, my name is Cassandra.
And my name is Natalia, and we're going to talk about Parmenides and Heraclitus, who were two philosophers who talk about change.
I'm going to talk about Heraclitus, which he says everything flows and nothing stands still. This means that change is like one of the rules of the whole universe. Humans always try to find the permanent and reliable, but for Heraclitus this doesn't exist. He thinks that everything develops an evolution with every single thing in life. Contradiction is not to be avoided because it makes the world. For me, this idea of Heraclitus, I think that everything has a start and an ending. You can also think about this for the universe, for the humans, and every single thing that is on Earth, and also it can be for the thoughts of the people. Because if you have an idea, like for example, the fire. Also, Heraclitus think that fire is like one of the method of think that this is change, because fire, it has a start when it starts to burn and an end. Also, the fire you can use for a lot of things like cooking and being heat. And when you when you feel the fire, sometimes you can feel it more than other times, because fire is like, it can develop a lot, or it can dust like smaller. But I think that this is a good idea for thinking about the change, because fire is one of the basic elements, but is a good way to think about change.
Now I'm going to talk about Parmenides, who was a writer born in Elea and who wrote in form of a poem. And he was the first to talk about the concept of being. When you're talking about being, you exclude the non-being. This means that you can only be what already is or exists. He says that everything is beginningless, eternal, imperishable, and uncreatable. For him, reality has no gaps. It is continuous and all is one. He says that change does not exist and that is just an illusion. Also, he says that the concept of nothing does not exist because you can only think about what exists already. I like what Parmenides says, because when he says that there are no gaps in reality, he is trying to say that everything is full. Like if you see an empty space, there is no empty. You think about it's empty because it's an illusion, but actually it is full of air or molecules or something, but it will always have something. It will never be like a gap, because for him gaps does not exist. And also when he's talking about nothing, that he says that nothing does not exist, it's true, because when you're thinking about nothing, you actually are thinking about the concept of nothing. So everything is going to be something every time. Even if you try to think about nothing, it's impossible. Like if you try to put your mind in blank, you cannot. You're thinking about the color white, but you're always gonna think about something. So it's impossible to think about nothing, because you can only think about what exists. To explain his concept that change is just an illusion, he's trying to say that, for example, you have a seed of a flower, and as time goes by, eventually it's going to grow and convert into a flower with petals and so you can say that it changed because physically you are seeing it different, but actually the concept is still the same. You think it changed, but it's still a flower. This is a flower and this is a flower, but in different states of matter. But it's the same.
For the example of this flower, I think that it changes because it starts with a seed and then it becomes into this flower. When it passes the time, it starts to getting old, and like you can see here that it starts to have these little things, so it's evolutioning, and at the end of the life cycle of this flower is going to become ashes, so it will be the end of this flower. And also it can happen to every single thing that we can see. So I think that Heraclitus is okay because it all has like an evolution, and start and an end.
To conclude, we can see that both Heraclitus and Parmenides had the same idea, but seen from an opposite point of view. But for us, we think Heraclitus has the best idea because we think that change is possible. For example, like
a big example, it will be the death of a close family member, like when if your mother or your father deaths, and it like you will think that you will appreciate more the love of that family member. Like if your father dies, you will take more care of your mother or your sister or something like that, so it will change like the point of view of your life. And also with your friends, you could change and start looking like in a bigger area.
And also, we agree more that things can change. Like the example of the flower, you see the seed and then the flower, and we say it changed because at first it is the concept of seed and then the concept of flower, not always the same. So we said that change is possible in life, and we liked it more. Another example we can say in Heraclitus' theory is that when he says that life is not continuous, we can say that, for example, this is your life, and when something bad happens, you have a drop, like you're sad or something, so then your life is gonna be like this, and then like again normal. So you can say that's a gap in your life. It's like a hole, but
it's still going.
But still going.
Another example is like a very common one. For example, when you born, then grow, and then you die. And when you die, you became ashes, and that ashes disappear. So it will be like an start and end. So in that time, you start like developing. So for example, you're not the same when you're not the same physically when you have 5 years or when you have 30, and also the way of think. So it's like an evolution of everything in your develop of being a human.